It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports,
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
Here we are. I'll start over again. It's the Pete Sousa Show, the Inside the 12 edition. Running a little late. Just got done with Inside the 12 this week, where we broke down the college football playoff scenario, where the Big 12 fits, how the ACC is really on the outside looking in right now. And we're going to talk about that momentarily here, but I want to remind you that the Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovakics. Of course, Crawford Austin Properties have a huge hand in this. First National Bank of Central Texas, our good buddy Dan Ingham, and Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and Socorro Family Ford. What if we did that? What if we did birthdays? Birthdays today, Anne Hathaway is 43. Ryan Gosling is 45. Can you believe that FGTV Bike is 16? He's a YouTube star. How about that? What about these YouTube stars? If you put up
What show are we doing right now?
Dude, if you put up like birthdays, God, dude, I am so out of it. Who's Mr. Savage? You know who he is? He's a Twitch star.
You think I keep up with Twitch stars?
Erica Costello. She's a model. Yeah. So I just figured maybe we do something different. Like maybe we can get to a place.
I do know who Anne Hathaway and Ryan Gosling
Of course, yeah. Maybe we get to a place where we do birthdays. Anne Hathaway's 43.
You know, we already have that show that does birthdays here at Rogue Media.
Oh, yeah, Mike does?
No, Zach Owen does it.
Zach Owen? Happy birthday. All right, well, we're going to talk sports. I want to, getting here this morning. So I left Dallas at 6:45, 6:30. And I have, Christy's going away to see her daughter at school, our daughter, soon to be, in Rochester. So I had to take the cat and the dog back with me in the car this morning. And I was like hustling, because I knew I had to drop them off and get them situated. The cat was a delight, made no noise. Neither of them. They were both perfect. What was not perfect was my inner workings of my body. Like halfway through, I was like, I have got to go to the bathroom and I don't know what's going to happen if I don't. So I literally pull off this exit where there's no sign for anything, there's no like, hey, stop here, rest stop. So I find this Jack in the Box, and now I have got to go. Like it's happening, and the desperation when I'm walking to the Jack in the Box, and there's a code to get in the bathroom, right? And it's for customers only. Now I am not a customer, not yet at least. And when I go to that person behind the counter, if you could, I mean, they have it on tape though. You could care less, but I was like, can I get the code to the bathroom? I'm a customer. The guy was like, yeah, dude, one sec. And then he went around and opened it, and then, it was relief. But I got to the show just on time, and everything was fine. And I was able to drop the cat and the dog off, and we're one big happy family. I'll tell you what outfit is not happy is the ACC. College football playoff rankings come out last night, and there's a world, and this happened last year to the Big 12, which is like, you're in a tough spot as a conference when there's scuttlebutt about, hey, they may not get anybody in. Like, it's like, oh man, you feel bad for people at the ACC, but I was thinking about this morning, like, what is the future of the ACC? It's a basketball conference, right? Like, that's how I view it, at least. And that's probably showing some of my age. When you look at the football aspect of it, shame on Dabo Swinney and shame on right now Miami, because you're in a conference where, especially with Dabo, like, I was thinking about that this morning. He really has failed to adjust to the changes in college football. And he may yet adjust and be just fine. But the failure that's part of life and part of what you do with work and stuff. Like, the failure to adjust to the changing times can spell doom for anyone, right? You see it happen all the time. People that work in media, people that work in finance, things change. Even now, like with AI, there's so many different things that are going on around us that, like, a failure to change can really hurt you. Ross Hodge, the head coach of West Virginia, when I talked to him a few weeks ago, said that his wife is a yoga instructor, and she has this saying that she picked up along the line that he shares with his team, that the strongest trees are the ones that are able to survive the hurricanes. Like, you got to bend a little bit. You got to be flexible. And I just was thinking about Dabo this morning. His inability to be flexible, I feel like, and work the portal and use some of that Dabo charm, they're just a little behind the schedule. So it's surprising to see what's happened to Clemson. And I don't believe, he could sell you on this being an outlier. And maybe it is, because maybe if you get with the program, you can recalibrate real fast, right? And hit the portal hard and just do what you need to do. But I am surprised that the ACC is as down as it is. The Big 12 right now, if the season were to end today, those are the rankings themselves. If the season were to end today, BYU would make it as the 12th team, which you still got 2 in. And analytics wise, the analytics say, I hate when people say that. The analytics say, but
sorry to cut you. Where would BYU squeeze in on the rankings from last night?
I think they're at 12, right?
Yes, but South Florida gets a bid, and Miami gets a bid as the.
What do you got there? We had rankings on our show this morning that had BYU in.
So BYU is 12th in the rankings.
I know in the rankings, but we had them in the playoff tree too.
Yeah, but so the 11th and 12th, Oklahoma and BYU would get left out because Miami and South Florida.
Let's go to the bracket.
Yeah. So Miami and South Florida as the highest ACC and group of 5 would get auto bids.
So, well, how did we get that wrong? Do I have to call somebody? Because I looked at that too, because it's interesting you say that. Because I thought that was odd.
Like last week, Texas and Oklahoma were 11 and 12, but they weren't in the bracket either because the
yeah. You got to be up in like that 10 range.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, look, it won't be the first time I'm wrong. My fear is that other people will be wrong and they could get in trouble for it when that show goes to air. So I might be making a phone call afterwards because I was thinking the same thing when I saw it.
Yeah.
Let me look one more time.
This is from ESPN last night.
Yeah.
Officially.
All right. Well, maybe I read. It's very possible I read that wrong. By the way. Like earlier today. So when you look at it right now, so you have first 2 out are Utah and BYU, right? Is that correct?
Oklahoma and BYU.
Okay. And like I said, the analytics are telling you that Utah is the best 2-loss team in the country.
Yep.
Better than Vanderbilt, which is a surprise. I think it's going to be, here's my thoughts about this. And when you look around at some of the playoffs and the schedule ahead for some of these other teams, Scotty, do you think that the SEC and, Texas still having to play Alabama and matchups like that, like how much could that shake up?
Oh, it's going to shake up dramatically. Oklahoma's not going to beat Alabama on the road. Texas has Georgia and Texas A&M left. They might get one of those two. I think they'll be not favored in either. They might get one of those two. I don't think they get 2 of those 2. It's also possible Texas beats Georgia and knocks Georgia down a peg here. I think the other one, those are the big ones. Like 2 of these SEC teams are going to move out, and I think you're going to have 2 that get to shift up. The real question is, and I was texting you about this, Miami is currently the highest ranked ACC team, but they're going to need a lot of help to make the ACC title game. They are probably not.
So this is the scenario where no ACC team gets in.
Yeah, the scenario.
All right, go ahead, give it to me.
Yeah. So the scenario would be, and I got this off Josh Pate's show last night, so I want to credit who I heard it from first. Josh Pate laid this out. Duke is unranked here because they have 4 losses. They lost 3 out of conference games.
And they're your first place team in the ACC.
They are currently first place in the ACC.
They lost to Tulane.
Yeah, they did. So Duke has Virginia, who I think is one of the more underwhelming ranked teams here. And then they've got North Carolina, who they will be favored, and Wake Forest. No guarantee they go 3-0 there. They could lose. But if they win out, Duke, they will be in the title game, likely against Georgia Tech if Georgia Tech also wins out. If Georgia Tech wins that title game, they will be ranked. They will be slotted in. If Duke were to win out and then beat Georgia Tech in the ACC title game, they would theoretically get the auto bid. The problem is the format is written as such. It is not written as the 4 power champions and the 1 group of 5 champion. It is written such that the 5 highest ranked conference champions in FBS get an auto bid. So obviously SEC, Big 10, Big 12, you're safe. USF, or you would assume the American champion, if it's not USF, is probably in. The key is currently James Madison would be ranked above Duke.
I had them, by the way. I had them in the playoffs.
You did?
Yeah.
James Madison would be ranked above Duke. And so if Duke wins the ACC, either the committee will have a choice. Either Duke will have to leapfrog James Madison or USF, which is not wild. That could happen. Or they would have to put like a Miami in who finished 3rd or 4th in their conference for an at-large bid. And in either case, you're making some weird calculations to get an ACC team in. The more logical flow would be Duke wins the conference. James Madison and USF get auto bids as conference champs, and the ACC gets left out. I don't think that happens because I think the committee knows you leave the ACC out of the playoff, there is going to be all kind of firestorm, weird results.
But what if you put an ACC team in just because you have to?
You don't, but you don't.
You're going to get the same blowback.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know?
Like you put Duke in or Miami in.
And it's clear
Miami gets in over Utah or something weird.
People will freak out even more because
it's a good point.
When the haves are always getting hooked up, right? The have-nots are banging at the gates.
It's a good point.
And part of me thinks, when we had like the BCS, it was all computers, right? All computers. Part of me thinks that there is college football and the powers that be involved with TV and involved with this whole thing. They know that this is good for college football. Like they know that the discussions, that it's the same thing like March Madness. Like it's a flawed system because you have human beings involved,
right? And
we're flawed. So it really generates a boatload of interest and talk, and it's great for us to talk about. It's great to talk about in game, and the conversation just doesn't stop all season long, especially now as, last night, the second issue of these rankings were released and more will be revealed. Look, we're not even, that is the number one thing. And Scotty did a great job of touching on that. Like the chaos that is still due it's coming, man. And it might come this weekend. My circling this weekend, and we got Rubén Amaro coming up, by the way, former general manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, in about 5 minutes. So we got to take a break. But when you think about West Virginia beat Pitt, okay? And Baylor and TCU both beat SMU. But West Virginia beating Pitt, I think, really says all you need to know about. And Pitt has a new quarterback now. So things have really changed there. They're 7-2. But that's a window into the struggles of the ACC this year, I think. And I think it shows, it's revealing that these schools now, like a Pitt, is still feisty enough that they could beat Notre Dame. And then if that happens, then the Big 12 looks even better, right? And there's more chaos throughout the ACC. And we'll talk a little bit after we talk with Rubén Amaro about Joey Maguire and statements he made about independence in college football. But I want to talk to Rubén Amaro about what's going on in baseball as far as the wagering is concerned, some of our gambling concerns, right? And also, I got to pick his brain about my Philadelphia Phillies and Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani, the whole deal. So we're going to step aside. We're going to come back with Rubén Amaro Jr. Don't go anywhere. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovak.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
The Pete Sousa Show is back, and we are thrilled to welcome Rubén Amaro Jr. joining us today, a guy who has been in my life for longer than he even knows. I mean, I grew up in Philly, Rubén, huge Phillies fan. Big deal for me to be able to chat with you today. Thanks so much.
Great to be with you, man. Let's chat. Let's chat some ball.
Let's chat some ball. You know, I do want to mention. So you first came into my life. Of course, I'd heard about your dad, but then you hit back-to-back. You hit home runs in your first 2 games. Was that right?
I think that I did. I think I had 3 home runs in like the first 7 games. My very first start with the Phillies, I went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a homer, and people thought I was going to be like the next, I don't know, Mickey Mantle. It wasn't happening.
But here's what did happen. The next morning, I'm getting ready to go to school at St. Thomas Good Counsel, and Action News is on, and some woman had recorded a song called Amaro, Amaro, like in the vein of Tomorrow, Tomorrow. Amaro, Amaro, I love you. And dude, sometimes that goddamn jingle is still stuck in my head.
That's funny. That's funny. It's actually true. What is interesting about it, Andrea McCardle, I think, who played Annie at some point, was a Philadelphian. And so it was very weird, but I think it was Scott Palmer at the time was one of the one of the guys on ABC.
Yeah.
At the time, I guess WPBI.
Action News.
They actually contracted this young lady to do that song, and it went all downhill from there.
Oh, man. It was great, though, dude. You've always kind of been a household name around Philly. And, of course, around baseball, front offices, coaching, playing. I'm curious to get your take right now on the state of the game, but I want to ask you just like hot topic stuff, which I hate that term, but that's what it is. Around this Guardians pitching situation and what has developed, what we learned late last week. First question for you, as a member of a front office, how hard would it be to detect an issue like this? And how does Major League Baseball and the Guardians navigate a road like this?
Well, obviously, it's a really difficult situation, and it's really unfortunate for Major League Baseball. They don't want any more black eyes. They've already sort of gone through some stuff. I mean, I think every industry has issues. And it's something that we actually dealt with quite a bit when I was in the front office and when I was a player. We would have people come in and have these discussions about the dangers of getting involved in, this sort of illegal stuff that can happen. And all you can do as an organization and as as an industry is to educate and try to make sure people understand the consequences. It just seems odd. No one knows what, each one of these ball players is going through personally on a personal level. You would think that because they're getting paid, a pretty handsome, and at least in one case, a pretty handsome salary, that, getting involved in something like this just doesn't make any sense. But you just don't know what the outside and inside pressures are that take you to this spot. I mean, obviously, the whole gambling thing just overall has gotten to the point where, people are just like when I was playing in Venezuela and other places in winter ball. You basically are gambling on every single pitch, every single thing that happens during the course of the game. And, some of the apps and some of the things that are driving, some significant revenue in the game today is reliant upon, a lot of people being involved in this stuff.
Yeah, we see Rubén Amaro talking with us, the host of the Philly Show. Also, you can see him on NBC Sports, chopping it up, talking Phils, and everybody knows about his career in the front office and on the diamond. When you're watching a game, and you're elite at breaking down baseball, how would you ever know if somebody did throw a ball on purpose?
It would be odd. And it would be tough to pick up at times, like when we see certain guys, just the ball coming out of their hand and slipping out of their hand. I mean, I've got this, patented that, I'm sort of plagiarizing, but when somebody misses that badly, I'm like, hey man, I think he just hit the bull.
Yeah. Bull Durham. Yeah.
But, it's a really difficult thing if it's happening repeatedly and you see it from someone who has really good control and command. Then, it'll probably light things up for you. But in this day and age, it's really difficult to detect, frankly, because command and control has sort of gone by the wayside, and it's now about power and executing the hardest possible pitch and the most and imparting is the most spin you can on a pitch to make the player miss the baseball. That there are times when guys are just misfiring, and so it's really difficult for you to sort of break it down.
Yeah. One last question on this. When you were a ball player, you mentioned winter ball in Venezuela, but you get to the major leagues, it's much different. I mean, you hear some scuttlebutt and obviously the Pete Rose thing. I think the thing about Pete Rose that frustrated the people that I respected and talked to, people like in your role, was that, every time you guys walk into that clubhouse, there's a sign. I used to work in the NBA. Those signs are right there, dude. Do not gamble under any circumstance. They're everywhere you look, really, right? And so that is obviously an egregious move to make. But now it's like it's right there for these young guys who I know when I was young, I was a knucklehead, still kind of am. And you just have it's right at your fingertips, right? Do you think that this should be something that maybe these pro sports leagues punt on this idea? Like, could it be something like, hey, this is a bad idea, or is the money way too good?
It's a tremendous amount of accessibility just in general. I mean, this is a societal thing. I mean, you start talking about it's a deeper issue, I think, in a lot of ways that, there's so much exposure, the social media, the accessibility, the ability to gamble at your very fingertips in live time. And I think that makes life really difficult. I forget which country was actually considering shutting down all social media until the age of 15 for some of these young folks. And I think it's not a bad idea, to be frank with you. I just feel like, you talked about it being in the clubhouse. I had to read Rule 21 1,000 times. And, that was just my job. And Rule 21 basically talks exclusively about gambling on a bunch of different levels. and it's something that I do believe that they continue to do every single year. The Major League Baseball Commissioner's Office typically will have people come in and have meetings about it and have seminars about it. All you can do, like I said, is sort of educate. And I just don't know. It's driving so much revenue for many of the teams, and the RSNs and all the folks that are carrying these baseball games, that it's a tough thing to get away from as far as the revenue is concerned. I can understand why teams and leagues and commissioners want to continue to drive that sort of revenue, but it becomes a very slippery slope, sadly. But all you can do is, you can, like Paul Owens used to say, you can lead them to water. You just can't stick their head in it. You can't make them do things. You can just, sort of educate them as much as you can, and you hope people make the right choices.
Yeah, it's concerning because back in the 80s, when you would hear about stuff like this or read about stuff, you'd always hear the rumors. And it kind of made a little bit of sense because guys were making a couple $100,000 and maybe they get in debt and, they're in over their head. But now the money is so huge. I think maybe, and this is from 30,000 feet, that the leagues themselves are probably like, there's no way these guys, that had to be part of it, like it's nickel and dime stuff. I do appreciate the gambling books that pick this stuff up. I think you're always going to get caught, which even makes it more like that fool's gold.
Yeah, again, I think it's just a matter of people. There's some people who think that they have the God complex, right? I'm never going to get snagged. I'm never going to get caught. I've got this covered. But the reality of it is, in this day and age, especially, pretty much everything you do is going to be exposed. And that makes life difficult for the athlete. You see so many guys being so private about their stuff because of it. And they sort of have to be in this day and age. Again, the accessibility to the players, the accessibility to, be able to go on a gambling app and to do things so easily has made it, made it very, very easy for folks to make poor decisions.
Before I ask you about the Phillies, I want to wrap it up with this. Would you, if you were commissioner, would you shut it down?
I don't think I would. Obviously there would be investigations, much like what they did with the steroid era. I would assume that they're going to have to crack down on that and spend some time and some money on making sure that folks are educated better, that folks are being, scrutinized, what have you. I know that I can't gamble on baseball because I am part of Major League Baseball Network. I'm part of, the NBC Universal RSN and such. So I know that that's something I just won't do. That's not my thing. But for a lot of people, it's a big deal and it's important to them. So I don't think I would shut it down, to answer your question, but it would have to be certainly monitored at a super high level now, because it's a certain black eye to the Major League Baseball, and it puts a lot of people in a tough spot.
All right, let's get to the Phils. I have a fear as just a fan that the window is closing right now. What are your thoughts on that? Nobody's closer or knows more than you.
Well, I think that the talent level on the club, the basic core players that are still there, I know that they have JT Realmuto, Ranger Suarez, Harrison Bader, and obviously Kyle Schwarber are now free agents. But beyond those players, and I do believe that they're going to make a huge effort to bring at least a couple of those guys back. You're still looking at, guys who are really productive still. Turner's a very good quality ball player. Obviously, they have Harper, and there's other young players that at the end of the season started to play quite well, the Marshas and the Stotts of the world. So, you have a really darn good core, and I really love their starting pitching. It sounds like Zach Wheeler's going to be back a lot earlier and sooner than they think. Not sure if that's going to happen, and that would be huge for them because it automatically puts them in contention to have Wheeler, Sanchez, and Luzardo at the top of that rotation. That's fantastic. So you put yourself in a really good spot. You got Duran as the closer. They did pick up Alvarado's option as well, and they have Strom back there. They may have to add on to somebody from the right side to make themselves have a little bit more depth. But yes, they are getting a little longer of tooth. Yes, they are still very talented players. Yes, John Middleton and Dave Dombrowski are going to do everything they can to bring that trophy home. And it's a very difficult situation because they are getting older. They have to start thinking about the future. And like I've said before, and I lived it myself because I made the mistake of, shutting it down maybe 1 or 2 years too late, as opposed to sort of rebuilding 1 year too early. But that's a tough thing to do with this fan base, and the fact that there's a lot of parity in the game, man. There's no super teams, really. I know that the Los Angeles Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series, and they've been really good and great at times. But they're not so dominant that somebody can't overtake them. And I think a lot of teams see that, and the Phillies are one of those teams. So they're going to continue to try to get there to put themselves in a position to win. And it's going to be one of the most fascinating off seasons just because of what you said. That's a very delicate balance of adding on to an already older core, which the Dodgers have as well, and still contending in the future. Tough one.
As a general manager, how do you weigh that? Like, you have this amazing piece that you can bring in, but you have this locker room in this clubhouse that is cohesive, right? And they know each other, they get along, and they have for a while. How do you manage that?
Yeah, well, it's not easy because I lived it with Papelbon. We brought him on to become our closer right after the 11th season. We had the best season, I think, maybe in the history of our franchise as far as wins and losses. But we ended up having a lot of breakdowns physically with our guys. When I brought in Papelbon, really didn't know that was going to necessarily happen. We thought we were going to get, Ryan Howard back, and Chase was going to be better with his knees, et cetera, et cetera. But we had a lot of breakdowns. Roy Halladay went down. We had, other guys go down as well. Cliff Lee went down, and you start having that domino effect, and it ends up hurting you. We ended up, signing Papelbon to a four-year deal. And because I felt like that was the best, closer in the market, and it ended up that sort of backfiring on us when the rest of the team sort of crumbled. So it's a tough call. You can't really replace a ton of guys, but if you have enough depth in your team and you have some luck and you stay healthy, then you got to give yourself a chance to win. I believe that in the big markets, when they have a chance to really have a legitimate chance to win, and I think you have to make really good assessments as to whether you're a real contender, you got to give yourself every chance. I think that's part and parcel of being a GM, is to win. And I didn't really believe in necessarily shutting it down or just competing. I wanted to contend every year. And that's a tough thing to do on the regular. And there's only a few teams that can do it on the regular.
Was that almost harder for you, being like a Philly guy, and the city as well as you do? You root for Philly just as much as the next guy. You're not just some dude coming through town that's like, a hired a gun, Like, was that pressure difficult for you? To make these major decisions, right? Because you really, really cared.
Yeah, very rarely do you take over a team that's won the World Series. Typically you take over a team that's pretty crappy. And I was one of those guys that, came on to try to continue the process because we still had a great team. I think in 09, 10, and 11, we had really good seasons. We just didn't play well in the playoffs and couldn't get over the hump. But, there's a pressure to succeed in Philadelphia. And I felt that pressure a little bit, but that's part and parcel of being, that's your job. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I loved trying to give the fans what they deserve, which is a winning team. And I felt like if we truly had a winning, we had a winning core, I sort of owed it to the fans who were, paying their money and supporting this team as much as possible to try to give them a winner.
When we talk about, just a few more for you, because I'll let you get back to your day. When we talk about the Phillies, what's the number one missing ingredient this offseason that they should be consumed with adding?
Yeah, I'd really like to see some bat. I'll say this by saying there's really two things. I'd love to see a little bit more right-handed balance. I mean, Alec Boehm in the middle of the lineup has had some success driving in runs and creating runs. I'd like to have another right-handed bat. If, in fact, they bring back Schwarber, which I got to believe that they will, I think that there's a right-handed bat or two out there to help support and also to protect Bryce Harper in the lineup, maybe a little bit more significantly, or give Rob Thompson, the manager, a little bit more flexibility in his lineup. I do think that it's a good team. I do think you're going to see some young players get opportunities. I think Crawford and Painter are going to get opportunities to be in the big leagues. You may see Aiden Miller later on if there's a breakdown and he continues to develop, and they have to probably get a little bit younger in their core players. So I would not be surprised if those guys make some impact. But I think right-handed bat is an important one for them, and someone who can make consistent contact, drive in runs, get base hits, extend innings. And then from the right side also, I think in the bullpen, they probably need a setup guy that they can take the ball to Duran. Even though Strom and Alvarado have had success, I'd like to get a guy that maybe is a little bit more locked down.
Ohtani, is he the most amazing thing you've ever seen come through baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of joke that he's sort of AI, right? I mean, you don't really, he's almost like a robot. Interestingly, when the Phillies play them, they actually handle him really, really well. He's not had a ton of success against them, but to watch him do what he can do, not just on the mound, not just at the plate, but on the mound as well, it's just extraordinary. I had an opportunity to see him before he came over to the States and Japan, and he was, a marvelous talent. But to watch what he has done, it's hard to imagine that there is a better or has been a better all-around player in the history of the game. I just can't imagine that's possible. And I remember saying to myself, I just put this guy, I don't even have to get him on the mound. I'll put this guy in right field and just let him play every single day out there, and he'll be worth the $700 million because he can do so many things offensively for your team. Not that anybody's necessarily worth $700 million, but so far it's worked for them. They've got a couple of World Series to walk away from.
How about the way that the game has handled him? I thought it was fascinating in the World Series where, he's getting more time to warm up and Schneider's at the top of the dugout like, hey, what the hell's going on? I mean, he really is like, and you could tell like these umpires who are so well educated and have such great experience, they don't know what to do. I mean, it's when you saw that happening, the delay with him, because he's just come off third base. So he starts his warm-ups 3 minutes after they come back from commercial. What do you make of that? And like going forward, how does that get handled?
Yeah, I think he's sort of getting the Michael Jordan treatment, right? He's he's the guy that a little bit of the face of baseball, and so he's being treated a little differently. I sort of have differing opinions about that. I don't think it's fair to the other clubs that he gets that treatment. And at the same time, I mean, for the good of the game, I guess, overall, maybe you give him a little bit more leeway. I don't mind the umpires having a little bit more common sense, but the reality of it is I don't, if I'm playing against him and I'm playing in the World Series and this guy's getting, a different level of treatment, I'm not going to be very happy as a GM or a manager.
Oh, that's great from you. All right, last one, because we're in Texas and I don't get to talk to a GM every day. When you are getting ready for spring training last February and you see the alert on your phone or you wake up to it because it was so late at night that the Mavs trade Luka Doncic, right? Like, and then and as a GM, when you see that move being made, and of course you're thoughtful, so you're like, there must be way more to that than I know. But at the same time, how much does that shock you to see a general manager trade away a generational talent like that? And is that something that is almost like a hard no in whatever case?
Yeah, I mean, I really have a tough time moving those guys. When we were finally getting to the point where we were in a total rebuild, to have to move, and I've been through it, to have to move guys like Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins. I think that they were sort of towards the end of their careers as far as their overall talent and production. But when you move a guy like Luka, I mean, when you move a guy like this, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I know that the Boston Red Sox moved Mookie Betts. That was a shocker to me. I know Mookie extremely well. He's a generational talent and person. I don't know, the personalities that were involved there, but my goodness gracious, it puts your franchise and puts you, I mean, the bullseye gets on you fast. And obviously there's a reason why he's no longer part of that organization, but that's a really, really difficult decision to do. And I don't envy him. I would try not to do that and do what I could to try to work around it, especially in basketball, where I think one player has so much more effect on a team. In a game like basketball, they're basically 1/5 of your starting core, right? And they have so much of an impact on the daily compared to football or baseball or other sports that really need the support system with other players. Basketball is one of those suckers that, man, oh man, when you have a generational talent like that, you never want to let him go.
How do you set that up with Chase Utley? Like a guy, like, I mean, that he is Philly, but you got to move him, late stages of the career. Do you bring him in and say, hey, here's what because he's not just a regular guy. This is more than a business move, right?
It was heart-wrenching for me, gut-wrenching. He's one of my favorite all-time Phillies. He and Roy Halladay and some others, but really, really gut-wrenching for me because I know what he means and what he meant and who he is and what he is. And for me to have those discussions with him, I was honest with him. I told him, listen, we're not going to be very good. And we're going to be in a position where you're going to be surrounded by some highly less talented players than you have been around for the last 6 or 7 years. And frankly, I wanted to give him an opportunity to go play in a place, one, that he felt comfortable, and two, in a place where he still had a chance to win somewhere. And I was.
Yeah, you didn't send him to Pittsburgh. You sent him to LA.
And he had a no trade, so he had he had a lot of thunder on that decision. But you and I always felt like this. I always try to respect the players that respected the game, and I love to give those guys opportunity. I think John McDonald was with us one year, and he was only with us for like half a year. But I sent him to Boston and we weren't contending. That was home for him, and I thought he could help them, maybe contend or what have you, be a good piece for him. I know it's important and incumbent on me to do what's best for the organization, but as a player and as a person, you have, some level of compassion about what happens. I've been fired. I've been let go. I had been traded and really never had any say, never got to the point where I was able to do that. And so I understand what it means to be leaving an organization that really meant that much to Chase.
Rubén Amaro Jr., we've kept you way too long. Thanks so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. A lot of gratitude, man.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad to join you. And hey, Dallas is all right. That's a nice city.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love it.
I love it there. I hope you're enjoying yourself there.
I'm feeling good, man. Thanks a lot, Rubén.
Take care.
Take care, bud. There he goes, Rubén Amaro Jr. Yeah, that's a guy I've been wanting to talk to for such a long time. And this opportunity comes up, and Chris Visser's like, hey, how about it? I'm like, please. That's a dude I've always looked up to. And again, I remember that. He came out of the gates white hot, and they literally made a song about him. And you just don't forget that when you're like a 8, 9-year-old kid. So that dude's been part of the fabric of my baseball life for a long time. All right, let's step aside. We'll come back. Much props to Rubén for taking the time. We're presented by Slovacics. A couple more items to hit quickly, and then we'll get out of here. So the Pete Sousa Show Check us out on the other side of the break.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at FullwellFertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at GEVI.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Sousa to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Sousa. That's SOUSA. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_HTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Now that we all feel real good about gambling, let's remind you, Underdog is not gambling. It is fantasy playing, where you can make picks and win money. And today is Wednesday, which means you get my college football picks for the weekend. We'll be talking about this the rest of the week. I have put my money on 4 of these guys, and let me show you.
Dude, your shot looks amazing. Did something change?
I just always look amazing.
No. It looks different.
I don't think
something
so.
to the camera or whatever.
I'm not so sure. But let me show you. Here's what we got this weekend on my Underdog picks. Rubén Owens. I haven't shared this much on this show. I've shared it on the other show I work for. I got to cover Rubén Owens for 2 years when he was in high school. I did radio broadcasts of his games. I covered him for the newspaper. He was the #1 running back in the class a few years back. He is having a breakout year at Texas A&M, and I'm so proud of him because he's a good kid. He had a huge game this last week. He's going to have a huge game again against South Carolina. Give me Rubén Owens with higher than half a rushing and receiving touchdown. He had 2 this past Saturday. Darian Mensah for Duke, very quietly having a great season. ESPN just ranked him as the 15th best quarterback in the country. He will have higher than 229.5 passing yards against Virginia. Wayshawn Parker has broken out for Utah in the last 2 weeks, and we know how good that offensive line is. We know how bad Baylor's defense can be against the run. I've got him with higher than 55.5 rushing yards. And then Sawyer Robertson, even when Baylor plays poorly, he is, for the last 4 weeks in a row, had at least 2 passing touchdowns. So give me Sawyer Robertson with higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Those are my picks. Pete, what do you think?
Well, I love your last 2. Just from what I've gleaned being around Baylor and talking yesterday to Bill Riley, right? Like, Utah is a running outfit.
Yep.
They want to play good D and run the football and control it. And I think that is why they could be one of the last teams to sneak into that college football playoff.
Sure.
I mean, I know it's a long shot, but they're built for it. They're built for the postseason. They truly are. Even if they had to go on the road and play someplace cold, like, Utah could play really well. Like if insert Utah for that SMU spot last year and have them go on the road and play Penn State, I think you're talking about a better game. Just the physicality.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So I like them. I like them a lot. And I don't think Baylor's going to win. But if I was a Utah fan, I'd be like, damn, we got to play Baylor. Like it's not a win by any measure. This is the team that we thought could win the Big 12. And who knows if they're going to rally around Dave once again. Yeah, good stuff though. Good job. Underdog.
Rubén Owens, 13 carries for 102 yards, 7.8 average with 2 touchdowns against Missouri. So that's why I feel good about that one as well. I'll have to tell you about that sometime, Pete. Covering him in high school was a blast.
Yeah,
you can imagine.
And A&M, hey man, that guy might be playing deep into January.
I would be pumped for him. I would be sad for me, pumped for him.
All right, quick note. We're up against the time-wise before we go. I do want to mention a little bit about, our good friend Michelle Beadle, and I called her, we were friendly before she came on this show. Now I'll just make the move and call her a friend. She's way cool. I mean, I can't say enough cool stuff about Michelle Beadle. But I mean, literally, she does our show, and then she just moves on and is back like above the fold. That's an old school, like old man line. Above the fold's like top of the newspaper. But she's everywhere because she reboots that show, Beadle and Decker, and she talks about, she's saying a lot of this stuff. She does not like Stephen A. She doesn't run from that, okay? When she says she prays for his downfall, she doesn't pray for his downfall. Like, can we kind of come off that? First of all, she's an atheist, right? Or agnostic, whatever. I mean, she's not like big God squad. So like, she's not praying for anything. And second of all, she doesn't want him to like experience like harm or have his career like melt. It's a joke, okay? But she does not like the guy at all. And she's very clear. And I give her a ton of credit because she's got like the thing about Michelle Beadle, and this is where she was like the perfect storm as a TV personality. When she started at ESPN on that Sports Nation show, she was probably one of overnight, like quickly one of the most talented people at the network, if not the most talented, right? And then she also is very principled. She's a very principled person. So she had a lot of success early, and then she was really enabled to be herself all over ESPN. So some of the things you would hear will be like, you know, if they're talking about a show rundown, right? Like where if you're sort of the new kid on the block, you may not, if they bring up a topic that you maybe disagree on or you don't love, like you might keep it to yourself. Like she was thrust into a position where, okay, she was going to be the one out there talking about it, and she was getting paid a lot of money, and she was comfortable. So she would tell everybody how she felt about things. And she wasn't like a bitch about it. Like she was unfiltered, right? And I think that rubbed some people the wrong way. And on the other side, I don't agree with what she said. She made it sound like, well, Stephen A., you know, when he talks about how hard he works, like that's him. Well, look, you can never tell me that's a bad thing. Like if he wants to work his ass off around the clock to be the face of that place, like good for him. You guys don't agree on some stuff. And the unfortunate part of this, and I know she doesn't even care, but like the thing about a guy like Stephen A. Smith, right? He is so well versed in talking shit. Pardon my language, because I just gave the letters, but now I just said it first. I just dropped it. But he is that, like, he's almost unbeatable in that regard. So like, even though I would probably agree with what Michelle Beadle said, and there's some real tenets of Stephen A. that I love. And then when I say I agree with her, because she doesn't like him, she's not scared of it. And she said something tongue in cheek that I believe got blown out of proportion. You'd have to ask her. But I think it got way blown out of proportion, because if you see in writing, I pray for his downfall, and you don't hear it or watch it, you can take that in a bunch of different directions. But Stephen A. is the best at arguing right now. I mean, he just is. Like, he gets on his show and he takes aim at not only Michelle Beadle, but Carrie Champion, who was on First Take with Stephen A. And Stephen A. says he got her hired and stuck with her. And Stephen A. almost got emotional at the end of his like Carrie Champion rant, because they're supposedly good friends. Basically, Carrie Champion, after Michelle Beadle said what she said, I guess Carrie Champion kind of piggybacked and was like, yeah, that dude put me in a lot of weird positions with some of his comments around women and stuff. And I would take heat for it. And then she said, Carrie Champion said, you know, you, Stephen A., will give me a hard time. You'll give the Crockett woman a hard time, speaking about like black females, but like, let's see if you go after Michelle. Well, he definitely went after Michelle. And then he went after Carrie Champion afterwards. But like, how bizarre is the world we're living in? Like, I mean, these are heavyweights. Stephen A. Smith is a heavyweight, literally eviscerating two of his former colleagues like we're teenagers. Like, does nobody have phones? Pick up a phone. Call Carrie Champion. Call Michelle Beadle. Like, or vice versa. I guess they don't care to talk with one another, but you get what I'm saying. Like, and it's entertaining. I watched it. Look, we're talking about it. But at the end of the day, like, Stephen A., pick up the phone and call. Is anybody going to be the bigger person? Like, I know it's hard to pick up the phone, right? They say it's 500 pounds sometimes. But pick up the goddamn phone and call somebody before you blister them on television. And you say stuff. He is amazing how eloquent he is. And the way that he was basically like talking about Cody Decker, the guy that works with Michelle Beadle, saying he's never heard of him. And, you know, but he wishes him the best. It's just like, it is hilarious and it's entertaining. But at the end of the day, I just hope nobody's getting hurt. All right. Cause I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. I just like that's the thing. Let's keep it fun. It's sports, right? I don't know. I mean, do you think, what if someday Scotty is out there, like, and he's just talking all kinds of shit about me? because he's made it. He is like at the very top.
Never.
Right. And I'm like, Scotty, you don't remember. And I'm still sitting right here. I'm like, Scotty, you used to sit right over there. I would take care of you. I would bring you Dr. Peppers. What do you
Do you know how many times I went to Corey Dickman's office and I talked about you? Who kept you in row? That would be Pete. Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
I was talking to my friend John Tobias about this yesterday. I said, JT, could you imagine if someday we were famous enough where we could have like a war of words like that? Like, oh my God. And the nasty stuff we could say about each other. Oh my gosh. Keep it in house, folks. Even if you're out of house, keep it between yourselves. Anyways, all right, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got a pretty cool. I just got a note from Visser. We got a great preview coming for Texas, Oklahoma. Rod Babers, come on.
Texas and Oklahoma, to be clear.
Stick to that. Yeah,
they already played this season.
Yeah. Texas, Georgia.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's it. I'll be wrong again tomorrow, I promise. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacics. We'll see you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.